going on, sports fans? This is Jake Waxman
and Tyler Lavalette
coming to you with another session of Friday Roundtable here in the studio here in Waterford. We got some baseball to talk about. Me and my man Tyler, we're going to be taking a trip down to Motown tomorrow, along with our families, to watch some Tigers and some Cubs. So we're going to start off talking about these two teams.
Absolutely. In fact, we have a clip from Monday, but a little context first. We had the Tigers were playing the White Sox in Chicago, split a 4-game series, 2 wins apiece. The Tigers and Cubs have the 2 best records in baseball right now, and everyone is saying this is going to be a World Series preview. And honestly, if the way things hold up, especially during October, they might be right. Anyway, let's show you this amazing catch that happened on
This
Monday.
was off balance on a curveball. It's a pop-up third base side. It's a long run.
Whoa! What?
No, come on.
Wow! He batted it into his glove.
Yeah, it was. It was that awesome of a catch. I couldn't exactly find a good full clip of it, but just for the MLB highlights. But regardless, let's see that again. Watch this. Ricochets off and then goes into the other glove.
Pinball! Holy cow!
Jay Spinetti was joking that the 2 guys that did it was a juggling act. Now taking reservations for birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, and anniversaries. Yeah, he was. There was a good amount of slight laughter in his voice for several moments after that play. It was that funny.
Whew. Okay, these last few, in response to what Tyler is saying, these last few weeks, I've seen, this is like the second amazing catch that I have seen. In the game, I believe, game 2 between the Reds and the Chicago Cubs, there was in the final inning, where the Cubs were trying to close out the Cincinnati Reds, there was an amazing lengthy catch by Pete Crow Armstrong. And that would have been a big hit for the Cincinnati Reds had he not caught that. It was an amazing catch. I wish I could have found a clip for you folks to see that. But these last few days, we're seeing some amazing defense, not by both the Cubs and the Tigers. Some amazing catches. That's why, folks, we watch this game. To reiterate, so, my goodness, Tyler, when we were looking forward to this game, did you ever, did you think, Tyler, that this game that we were going to would be between the 2 best teams by record in the MLB? Who saw that coming?
Wow. Seriously. If you told us back in March, when we did our previews, and I had the Tigers and Cubs doing good on divisions, I would not have said best records in baseball. Who had that in their 25 predictions? Seriously. Who? And kudos to A.J. Hinch for one move in particular, deferring Tarek Skubal starts tonight in front of the Apple TV viewing audience, because that's going to give the opportunity for him to face against the team that he could be facing in the Fall Classic for likely Game 1. Whether or not Chicago or Detroit hosts, it is going to determine on overall records and how in regular season and as well as the October run, assuming both teams make it all the way to the World Series to begin with. But I don't blame A.J. Hinch deferring him to tonight's game. It's going to be amazing.
Night time is the right time in Motown. You guys want to know someone who didn't see this coming? This guy didn't see it coming. So I thought the Cubs would be improved this year, although I didn't think they'd be good enough to maybe make a playoff spot. The Tigers, I was banking on them making the postseason. Right now, both of these two teams, they look like they are well on their way to the postseason. They're constantly maintaining a good pace, winning plenty of games in each and every series. But I'm just blown away by the not just by the improvement of the Tigers. The improvement of the Cubs has blown me away. Just mind blown. I could not have seen this coming. Even if I thought maybe the Cubs could prove me wrong and sneak into the postseason. They're not going to sneak in. They are making it very clear. They are looking like one of those teams that can make a whole lot of noise coming up this fall. And to reiterate, Cubs leading the NL at 39-23. Tyler's Detroit Tigers are leading the AL at 41-23. Wow. And to give you guys, so how are the Cubs doing this well? For those who are wondering, you got guys like, I mentioned Pete Crow Armstrong playing well on both ends. Ian Happ, he's doing Ian Happ things, and Matt Tucker has been a very pleasant surprise. But you know what? We got to give a lot of kudos to Craig Counsell. Okay, Craig Counsell is doing. You know what? Call it a play on words, if you will. He has established a council in Chicago, and they are between him and his players, and they are managing things really well. And right now, in terms of they're well ahead of ahead of schedule in terms of building back up, and same with Tyler's Tigers, well ahead of schedule. And I want to mention another name for the Cubs, Nico Horner. He at the bat, he has been very, very loud as of late.
Yeah, these are some guys that you're going to have to really worry about. You at Detroit, you're going to have to worry about. Yes, you're going to have to worry about Spencer Torkelson. You're going to have to worry about Riley Green. You're going to have to really worry about Javi Baez. I brought up Scooble. Kerry Carpenter, we keep calling him Kerry Bonds for a reason, is also a guy you want to worry about. Really, this team, the Tigers, they're going to be fun to watch. And, of course, the Cubs are going to be fun to watch. Let's just hope we can get some good, both appreciate a good Javi Baez play while we're at it. So we can both relish in the fun and not only that Cub fan can not only see the guy that was great for them in 16, but that Tigers fans can see more of that great things. That why Cub fans liked him back in 16.
I think the Tigers are learning very well this season why Javier Baez was critical to the Cubs' home or World Series run in 2016. He absolute plenty of firepower, and he's brought that to Detroit. And I will say this, if he hits a home run against my Cubs, I will not be upset, all right? He's a Cub in my heart forever. I appreciate everything he did for us. And, all right, he's playing for Detroit. But, I mean, you know what? Great baseball player. And I just appreciate great baseball. And he is playing great baseball. Like Tyler said, both teams are going to have to defend against really good players. Tyler mentioned Riley Green. And you know what? I'm just hoping come Saturday, my Chicago Cubs do not get torqued. And I do mean torqued. I'm hoping.
Yeah, we'll see about that. You're going to be praying to the baseball gods to ensure that doesn't happen.
Although, if it does happen, I guess it's vengeance for my man Tyler after having to watch the Tigers end up getting schooled at Wrigley Field. Just giving you a hard time.
I know. I mean, we talked about the ultimate trade-off on that trip. Yeah. But even still, yeah, we keep saying how exciting this series is going to be. This is a World Series preview, all that fun stuff. I feel like it's going to be a 2 out of 3 type of series. And obviously, I'm going to be saying Tigers on this one.
You know what? I'm not going to pull my punches on this one. I'll go with the Cubs. The Tigers are a great team, and while I do think they're the best team in the baseball right now, even between them and the Cubs, I just have a feeling the Cubs are gonna find something this weekend. I don't know what it is, but you know what? Call me biased, but I gotta go with my Cubs. All right, I believe it. I think they're gonna win the game. We're gonna be at the very least, but it would not surprise me to see the Tigers win tonight's game. Nighttime's the right time in Motown, as we've said.
Well, the best thing is we'll just have to see what happens, and we can make all the predictions that we want, but when Sunday's game is over, we will know how it ends.
It's always a mystery in baseball. You just never know. I guess on one final note, I will say this. Cubs, regardless of how this series goes, me and Tyler, we got to enjoy this to the most. We're going to do our best to enjoy this. We'll try to get some video footage for you sports fans. We'll even probably try to go live or put a video out there before the game, trying to have a little fun, keep the vibe positive in Detroit. Because you know what? Summer's the right time for baseball. And you know what? I'm getting, you know what? Tigers fans, you got to be feeling those vibes from like 2012 and 2006 and even years past, like say in the 1980s when the Tigers won the World Series. Because
84, yep.
Reminders that have been triggered. And you know what? With this Cubs team performing the way they are, I'm getting reminders of 2016 all over again. We're not even at the 10-year mark yet. This is crazy.
Okay, I'll just say this before we go. The Cubs were all set to face the Tigers in '84 in the World Series. Back then, it was the NL. You only had the National League Championship Series round between the NL West and NL East winners, and the ALCS between the AL West and AL East winners in 5-game series. The Cubs were up 2-1. We're up 2-0. They ultimately blew the last 3 in San Francisco.
Painful memories as a Cubs fan, but
You had 2016.
yep.
So you at least have that to going forward. Not that I'm taunting you about
It's
how
fair. It's
25
fine.
might not be the year.
You're good.
I'm not. I'm just happily reminding you of what you do have.
Absolutely.
Just like how we have 68 and 84 in years past.
And hopefully this year, the two of us will have that World Series meeting that we both crave in 2025, where me and Tyler are praying for Cubs and Tigers in the World Series. It'll be painful for one of us, but you know what? It'd be a great series. And you know what? It makes me think of the times with my hockey teammates and even some of the friends I made in high school. We always all thought that the favorite for like a Chicago-Detroit championship matchup was always the Blackhawks and the Red Wings. Might end up being the Cubs and the Tigers instead. How about that?
One can only hope. Anyway, shall we shift gears to another important news item that hit the wires yesterday?
Oh, Lord. Yeah, we'll shift gears. So, Aaron Rodgers is back. He's going to play once more in the NFL. He has signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. By the way, can we please roll the clip? So, the man who played for the Jets last year and before then the Packers, he is making his return to the NFL, as I mentioned, with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And here's the thing. All I know is many Pittsburgh Steelers fans, including one U-Tree that I know of, they are absolutely ticked off about this. They are not happy. Of all the quarterbacks, granted, Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, but oh boy, here comes the baggage. Things are going to get spicy in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, if you follow your own tree, days of our Steelers just somehow got renewed again.
Oh, no. You know, I have another name.
Honestly, that was the most depressing trip in the Yinzer-mobile I have seen from that Pittsburgh native. And it's not pretty. I don't blame guys like him for being upset about that, him going to Pittsburgh. But look, as a Lions fan, we face him in Detroit later in the season. I cannot wait to have our guys rub it into him in what could be one final time.
Well, I think we're kind of in the same boat on this one because both our teams actually play the Steelers this season, even the Bears. I can't remember if they're on the road at Pittsburgh or at home versus Pittsburgh, but both the Lions and the Bears will be playing the Steelers this season. So we both get our cracks at Aaron Rodgers. Both our defenses will get chances to level this guy who has tortured both of us in the past.
We do not forget. We do not forgive all that has happened in Green Bay. And we are, at the very least, lucky he did not go to Minnesota.
Oh, man. So, in short, there's a couple questions I have about this. Okay, Pittsburgh, what took you, if you were thinking about signing Aaron Rodgers, what took you so long? Aaron Rodgers, what took you so long to make a decision about whether or not you were just going to retire or return? This is before OTAs, too, which, all right, now you got Pittsburgh scrambling. So now that's a lot of new things that Aaron Rodgers is going to have to learn, new offensive system, different wide receivers to draw connections with, running backs to connect with. So this is a move that could so either this is somehow going to make me eat crow and it's going to work out for the Steelers, or this is going to blow up in Mike Tomlin's face. And this could very potentially, if anything, this could be the thing that ends up getting Mike Tomlin fired.
One can only wonder what the football gods have in mind for this upcoming season when September rolls around. Regardless, it's going to be interesting in the Steel City.
Absolutely. Question is it Mr. Rodgers' neighborhood or a darker version of Mr. Rodgers' neighborhood? That is the question to be seen. And, of course, if you guys have ever seen the show Mr. Rodgers' Neighborhood, it was filmed in Pittsburgh. So now with Aaron Rodgers coming in there, I just can't help but make these jokes.
I've seen the PBS episode. Nice wholesome show.
Yeah, it's a good show. You're right. I shouldn't taint it with something
Let's
like
not
that.
taint. Let's not taint the legacy.
What am I
of a
thinking
nice
over here,
legend, but nice TV legend like him.
Yeah, 100%.
Shall we not?
God rest his soul. So based on what here's the thing. Based on what I've seen, when he played for the Jets, I'm not convinced that this is going to be a move that works out for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the reason is Rodgers, he struggled with New York. Even when he was healthy, so he put up decent stats, but he really didn't do much to help the Jets win, let alone get them to the postseason. And you know what? I have a sneaking suspicion that Robert Saleh was let go by the Jets because of the influence of Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers, wherever he goes, it's not just the baggage. He has, to me, some kind of influence, whether it's with the general manager or ownership. So I'm a little worried that with that influence, could we end up seeing if the Steelers, especially if the Steelers don't have a winning record or are just struggling that bad early in the season, could Mike Tomlin get fired during the season, or let alone after the season?
Here's one thing to consider. It's a 1-year deal. So he won't, if things stand, he won't be around for long. So there's that to factor in.
That's right. And unlike the Jets, the Steelers, they will not put up with too much of this nonsense, and not for that long. So very smart of them at the very least, as Tyler mentioned, to sign Rodgers to just one season. And if he flames out, all right, you could cut him. And he can either retire or find another team to play with. But in conclusion, and you know what? Here's the thing. Rodgers, it's not going to be easy for him. In addition to learning a new offensive system, he's in the AFC North. You got teams like the Ravens, you got the Bengals, and you got the Browns, who have a ferocious defense. He's not going to have an easy time there, without doubt.
That he is not. It's going to be interesting to see what happens on and off the field in Pittsburgh.
All right. To conclude, NFL fans, get your popcorn ready. This will be interesting TV to watch in Pittsburgh. All right.
It is.
Shifting gears to the Stanley Cup Finals. We just had game run. Can we see the next clip, please? So, Edmonton with another rally from behind in this postseason. They were down 3-1 at one point to this tough Florida Panthers team, and then Leon Draisaitl happens, gets the game winner in overtime, and gives Edmonton a 1-0 win and a 1-0, a 4-3 win, but a 1-0 edge in the series to begin things. And what a great first game. I mean, it had everything. I mean, Edmonton started off really fast, then Florida, they started imposing their will, and then when it mattered the most, Edmonton were the ones imposing their will. Like, they were playing their style of hockey, and in that third period, they took it to Florida. They were able to tie up the game, and then the rest of the game, they took it to Florida. I think the Panthers, in a way, were taken back by what the Edmonton Oilers were doing in this game.
Yeah, that's quite impressive to think about. But remember, Florida is proving that the Stanley Cup hangover did not impact them in the slightest. And they're going to do what Pittsburgh did around 10 years ago. So win back-to-back titles. It can still happen. Absolutely. It's only just one game. We'll just have to see what happens.
Absolutely. Like Tyler said, yeah, it's just one game. But even that one game, that first game, which is a critical one, can give us a look into what the series will be like. And if you think carefully about it, if the score was any indication, it's going to be a 7-game series. In a way, I kind of feel like, Tyler, maybe we got a simulation of what the series is going to be like. Edmonton wins game 1, Florida wins the next 3, and then Edmonton winning the next 3 to win the Stanley Cup. If you go by like how the goals were scored in that game, so Edmonton scored first, then you had Florida scoring the next 3, and then Edmonton responding with 3 unanswered to win the game in overtime, of course. And look, watching this Edmonton team. Okay, Florida, they're going to be fine, first of all. I think they're going to be okay. It would not surprise me if they bounce back tonight. They just got some things that I think they realized that some of the things that they did with Edmonton last year, or they did to Edmonton last year, aren't necessarily going to work this year. So they're going to have to fine-tune some things, you know. They got to make sure they keep playing, keep your foot on the gas. And here's the thing. They slacked off in the third period of game 1. They had just 2 shots on goal in the third period of game 1. That's not going to help you win games. So going forward, I want to see the Panthers be more aggressive. Not only get back on your forecheck, even if that forecheck doesn't necessarily work, but don't get too reliant on Sergei Bobrovsky. Keep on pounding the pucks at the net and be more aggressive. That's how you establish your style of play. In Edmonton, they're able not only to rally because, in addition to Florida kind of slacking off, Edmonton, they didn't give up. This is a different Edmonton team. Last year's Edmonton team would have kind of crumbled, but this year they have a whole new focus, and having a lot of depth certainly helps.
Absolutely. Edmonton is Canada's only hope in finally ending that over 30-year drought of no Stanley Cup titles.
Nope.
So it's off to a good start if you're Edmonton. So we'll have to see what happens, how the rest of these finals go.
Without a doubt. And I will close this subject off with a few thoughts. So, as I mentioned, I think Florida, they've looked at the tape. I think they're going to learn a lot of things. And wouldn't surprise me if they bounce back, even on Edmonton's home ice in game 2. They come at Edmonton harder with a few more modifications to the offense. Because I think Florida's, in game 1, I think they learned, okay, in addition to being taken back by Edmonton's depth and their skating style, as well as kind of turning Florida's forecheck against them, that, hey, the things that they did, plenty of things that Florida did to Edmonton last year to help them win the Stanley Cup, it's not going to work this year. It's time to change things up. So wouldn't surprise me to see Florida shift gears a bit. And now question is, can Edmonton be ready when Florida comes with an even greater push in game 2 tonight? That's what I'll be watching for.
Florida's going to want to hope to tie the series before they head back home for a reason.
Yes, sir. All right. And a few more things before we sign things off. Okay, I'm gonna talk real quick about the NBA Finals. Holy crap, what a comeback by the Indiana Pacers. The Thunder, it looked like they had this game in the bag, but as the Indiana Pacers have done quite a few times this postseason, another rally with 5 minutes to go. They are treating this postseason like it's a marathon, and it's working for them.
That's a good thing. And real disappointment on ESPN and the NBA for, they didn't bother showing the pomp and circumstance anthem in the lineups. I don't know why. The branding is the NBA Finals logoing has been weak. No Larry O'Brien trophy decal in the middle for the past few years. It's just, and this is the network that's going to be airing the final through the next decade?
Really, ESPN? Really? This is the NBA Finals. You should know what the trophy looks like. You should know what the logos look like. Come on, man.
You don't even show the national anthem?
Oh, that's
just odd.
That's a sin. Come on. It's game 1. You got to show the national anthem. Thumbs down to ESPN for that. Come on. Really? We want to be. Hey, this is America. We want to hear our national anthem before the start of what could be an amazing NBA Finals, even another sports series. You got to show the national anthem to begin things. On a side note, I just got to say a few more thoughts. Tyrese Halliburton continues to be insane. When Indiana needs him most, he rallied. They needed him in those final 5 minutes, and they got Tyrese Halliburton. And he's a big reason why Indiana was able to rally and steal game 1 on the road at the Thunder. Gonna be a great series.
Absolutely. Even with some of my gripes that I did mention, I didn't really watch that game, but still, from what I saw online, I have those gripes are fairly valid. I mean, so nothing to, justifiable complaints. But yeah, regardless, kudos to Indiana for making this for making the game close in the end and winning it. And it's just game 1 though. Absolutely. Anything can happen. Now, of course, why do we have to wait until Sunday for game 2? I don't know.
Oh boy, it's gonna be a long way. I usually don't, and for sports fans, just so you know, I usually don't like watching the NBA playoffs. I don't even enjoy the NBA Finals, but props to the Indiana Pacers and even to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've actually brought some excitement to this year's NBA postseason. And Pacers, of course, big reason why I'm watching. Being from the great state of Indiana, got to watch the Pacers. That's just where I'm at with this.
Basketball being in the Hoosier State for a reason, and the Pacers are the ultimate top level of that state's basketball mania.
And just a reminder before we shift gears, in 49 other states, it's only a game. But in the state of Indiana, it means so much more. All right, sports fans, today we're going to do something a little different. So I want to give a special thanks to my man Tyler and everybody here at the Waterford Studios for all their hard work. And we are going to do something a little different to close things out. We're starting a new tradition. To close out this episode, we have today Golden Moments in Sports. Okay, so for this week's Golden Moment, we've heard of relief pitchers, but I have never seen none that are greater than this relief pitcher. Can we see the clip, please? Look at her flexing that muscle, and look at this pitch right here. So this is Sister Mary Jo, who threw out the first pitch for the White Sox a few years back. I mean, this is wholesome. Look at her bouncing the ball off her bicep and then throwing a great pitch. Okay, you could call it what you want, divine intervention in sports. And we got a guy dressed up as Jesus. I mean, there's fans like that all across sports who dress up like Jesus because sports seem to be one of those things where everybody believes in miracles.
Yeah. No wonder Jake and I keep talking about the sports gods. But seriously, that was pretty impressive for a pitch from a nun there. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah. Sister Nun Mary Jo, you go, girl, you go. In terms of it, there have been great relief pitchers, but as far as I've seen, none better than Sister Mary Jo. Pun intended. Okay, call it puns if you want. All right, sports fans, I hope you enjoyed this week's Friday Roundtable and our new tradition of Golden Moments in sports history. For now, we are going to sign off. This is Jake Waxman.
And Tyler Lavalette.
Wishing you all a good week. Enjoy, everyone.